Hi all, this section is all about API automation using TestCafe. So before starting with the API automation, let's get some basics. API stands for Application Programming Interface. API assists the interaction between two different applications. API automation can help to accelerate the testing and increase efficiency and is more robust compared to the UI automation. So before proceeding, let's quickly see where API actually lies in the application and why we are saying it accelerates the testing and increases the efficiency and also is more robust. So if you see, logically we can divide the application into three layers. Presentation layer, this is the layer which is visible to the users. Business layer, it is where the API resides, and last is the database. So if you see, whenever you log into application or you load a page, you click a button, some APIs are being called, and how that presentation layer actually makes a call to the business layer. That business layer calls the database, fetches the data, perform the logic that needs to be performed, and then returns the data to the presentation layer, which is being displayed on the UI. So this is the part where the API resides, or the business layer. This is the business layer, or I can say in the business layer API resides. Now when we say we are doing UI automation, we perform that UI automation at this level, where we interact with the elements, we click on the buttons, we actually load an application. But API automation is actually performed in the business layer. So if you see, when we say it helps to accelerate the testing and increases efficiency, it means we are completely taking out the presentation layer and we are only interacting with the business layer and the database. Since we are not interacting with the presentation layer, that's why it is more robust, because the issue with the flakiness of elements not being identified is no longer there. Also, since we are not loading the entire page, it is very fast. So these are few benefits associated with an API, and I hope you got an idea where the API actually resides in the application. Now moving next, mainly there are two approaches to API automation. The first is teams create a separate framework for API automation. Say example, your application has more than 100 plus APIs. In order to get the fast response, teams create a separate API automation framework which only deals with the APIs. Now there are teams which actually leverage the existing TestCafe scripts and extend them for doing API automation along with the UI automation. It means, say example, you're loading a page and that page calls 3 or 4 APIs. Now I do not want to verify all the data when it is being rendered on the presentation layer. I simply want, when I navigate to a page, I verify some important data, and then just to ensure if everything is working fine, I verify along with few UI elements. I verify if all the APIs on that page are responding correctly or not. So this is another approach where we combine the API automation along with the UI automation. So that was a brief about API automation, what is an API, where the APIs lies, and different approaches for API automation. The next video will cover different API automation like get API and post API. Thank you.